All right, this is the recap for Friday, October 17th, 2025. And let's start with the ticker that a lot of people make money on today, and that's Tesla. And see what we got cooking here. All right. Okay, everybody here, everybody paying attention? Everybody that wants to be here anyways? So right away in the morning, the first thing I want to look at is the fact that we have moving averages, trying to figure out if they're bullish or they're bearish, and you can see that they're kind of twisted, right? And because they're twisted up, we are in favor of a CIZ trade, okay? So we do have a possible CIZ trade here. So now, I know a lot of people took this in the continuation strategy, which is fine. Let's just go through that. So the first thing we notice is we get a first green fair value gap. I use the 90-second, and a lot of you guys use the 1 minute, but they kind of line up. I get my first green fair value gap, and the candle closes at 9:34. So I do want to make sure that I'm looking bullish on the other time frames, and you can see we have green, red, blue, right? Not really. So it's kind of messed up on the 15 here a little bit. So you got to be careful on this one on Tesla. I bypassed it myself. I was looking for something else, but I know a lot of you guys did take this trade. And if you're going to take it, you're going to have to take it a short distance, at least the CIZ, just because everything is twisted up here in the moving averages, and they're not spread apart. Okay. So those of you that took it, I think you did find out that you had a little bit of a rodeo to get through. When you got in, it pulled back immediately. And most likely, like I said, due to the fact that the moving averages were counter-trending each other. They were kind of messed up right in here on the 15. But they were decent here on the 5. You had the 20 EMA on the daily that you had to get through. And you had these two major levels that you had to get through here on the larger time frames at 429. Okay, so this was the trade on Tesla, and a lot of you guys had a big drawdown here. You were negative, I think some like 15, 20, 25% in here. But good job hanging on, because if you look over at the larger time frames, right, we are holding that 20 EMA. A little nerve-wracking though, because on the 90, we do have the 50 above here, so we just don't know how far down it's going to go. I would have to say, if I was to rate this trade, I would rate it at about probably a 30% gauntlet trade. Just because of the way the moving averages were set up, you're pushing right into that 50 SMA on here, and you got the 200, the 100, the 50, the 20, and the 9. This thing is yelling bearish all day long here. So I would be a little bit afraid to take this to the upside at that point, but you guys do hold. It does hold on the 20, on the 15, and the 5, and you end up getting a good trade out of it right here. Okay. So that was Tesla playing our strategy. Now, if you play the strategy on the 5 minute, right? On the 5 minute, we had the same setup. This one here I like a little bit better because it allows me to wait for the pullback here. I get my green fair value gap right here at the pre-market high. It does move up. I'm waiting for a green candle at that point. Once this candle closes, I want my first green candle, and I don't get it until here, which kind of confirms the trend already. And I'm not sure if anybody was looking at the 5, but we do have a nice confirmation of the upside here. Be careful. You do have the 20 EMA in here. So once again, I didn't take Tesla. There's a lot of obstacles in the way. It just didn't seem like the cleanest one, but congratulations to you guys who took it. It did work out. And, just because I didn't take it doesn't mean it was a wrong trade either. At the end of the day, a lot of times just taking these fair value gaps over the 20 EMA, 9 times out of 10, it's really all you need. Everything else is just preference, okay? So that is the Tesla trade. Let's go to, let me back up here quick. I did say coming into the morning here, before the market opened, that we're most likely going to see a lot of CIZ trades because most of the moving averages on all time frames and all tickers that we watch were twisted up. And you do see that, we had a minor move here on Tesla. Right here, we never did break below the 9 EMA. So even though there was the CIZ here, we never got the entry that we were looking for. And that's a full candle closure below the 9 EMA right here, okay? But right now it's coming back again, and we'll see how far it comes down. We do need to get below the 20 and the 50 and the 9 EMA here, and below VWAP if we're going to see a bigger move to the downside. But once again, be careful. You got the ORB, you got a lot of traffic in front of you, 20 EMA, the pre-market high. There's just too much in here to try to take this thing too far to the downside, all right? Let's go to Meta. This is the one that I took. Once again, looking in the pre-market here, we can see that we have a bearish sentiment here on Meta, right here, green, red, blue. And then here we have a twisted up moving averages, which you can't really tell what order they're in, which is now telling me that there's a good chance we can have a CIZ trade on this one here. And now if I look at the open from the 90-second, or the 1.5 minute is what I use, and the 5 minute, you can see we're kind of got this bullish sentiment here, and we got a bearish sentiment here. Now, I always say this, when you're on the lower time frames and you get contradicting trends, counter trending, two different directions on the moving averages, you're most likely going to get that CIZ trade. And so this is what I had my eye on for most of the morning, was this Meta trade. The reason why I like Meta is because it pays pretty well, and it had a pretty good setup here. Now this one here, I went and got into this one here at the close of this fair value gap. We got twin fair value gaps here. You know how those work out. So as soon as this formed up here, I took this trade down here to the downside, which was about a $3.73 move, and made $1,100, well, about $1,000 on that trade. So a little under 1,000. I think it was like 980 or something. And that was my trade on Meta. Now these CIZ trades, I tell you guys, they can move partial down to the zero line. We got that zero line hit here, or they can just keep going all day long. Okay. I did get out of this one here because the trend, the momentum changed throughout the day on most of the tickers. And you see we had a nice trend to the upside on a lot of tickers. And now it's moving back to the downside again. So I thought I got out at a good spot there. But that was Meta. Now, let's talk about Meta for the continuation strategy, right? So that was the one I took, but we do have continuation. So what if you were going to take this as a continuation? You're most likely not going to take it here on the 90-second because you don't really have a setup here, but not until we get this arrow in here, right? We break the pre-market here, and this is exactly where we get our entry right here. And this is about a $3 move right there on Meta. Now, if you're playing the 5-minute chart, which I am, which is growing on me, we have the 5 minute. This is what keeps us from riding the rodeo, is our candle closes and immediately comes back. We get an indecision candle here. This next candle breaks, but I usually try to get in down here on the 1 minute or the 90-second here for my entry. Oops, let me fix it up there. I don't know how well you can see this. Once we break here, this is it right in here. So once this candle closes right in here, this is my hammer candle. This is where I would be getting into the trade. So I get a little bit of a extra entry on here based on the 5-minute fair value gap, right? And I get in right in here, and I get right to the 20 EMA, a $6.18 move overall. But let's be realistic on this one here. Let's actually move this one over to, if I can get this to move over. Right there, more like a $5.37 move, okay? So the 5-minute charts work really, really well. But you can see most of these fair value gaps on the other side of the 20. Right, here's another one that's forming. We're most likely going to see a move on Meta to the downside here, at least to 706, 707. And if we're lucky, you'll see a bigger move down to low of day, which is right about 705, 706. I think it is, right? About 706. So I think on Meta, we could see a low a day hit. If it doesn't hit low a day, we got a higher low forming there. And you can see in the 15 right here, too, it is holding the 20 and 50. So I wouldn't expect a big move to the downside, but and there you go. It's squishing it out anyways, so that's going to be obsolete. All right, let's go to NVIDIA. This is the other one that I took when the mic was off. I apologize. We have sentiment that is bearish here on the 90-minute, and we have a bearish sentiment on the 15, and then we have a bullish sentiment on the 5, right? And on the 90-second, it was also bullish. So as we came in here, basically looking just for a quick scalp trade up to the CIZ on this one, because the moving averages were counter trending right now. We are counter trending. We're moving into the 50 SMA on the 90 minute. Okay. As this is moving up, we got here this green fair value gap with the arrow at about 948. So I took this to the upside with the gold taking it to the crush it zone. One of the things that was measuring out here was I want at least a 1% move. And you can see we do to the far side here. It's about a 1% move exactly. If I look at this on the 5 minute, so I had the 5 minute, I was also looking at the 5 minute. We had this green fair value gap on the 5, right, as it's showing bullish. Waited for the retest on this impulsive candle right here, and also was gauging here about a 1% move, the 20 EMA or the crush it zone. Okay, now I didn't take the full ride. I don't remember what I only made a little over $100. So just kind of went in small on this one here. And then we did have a CIZ. So we have confluence. We have this major level here at 183.15. We have the 20 EMA. We have the far side of the CIZ. And you can see right here it breaks. The rest is history. This is a winning CIZ trade based on the counter trending, right? The flat day we have, the moving averages. And you can either wait for the retest. You can get at the fair value gap here, whatever. You got to just pick whatever's good for you. It's a high probability, right? So because it's high probability, don't get yourself stuck on this this rut where you're like, I'm going to wait for it to break the 20 EMA. Well, maybe I want to wait for the 20 on the daily right here, and it's confluent with the 20 EMA, so maybe I'll wait. And then you get down here and like, oh, now it went too far. I'm at the 20. Now it's going to bounce. Oh, look at it, it's bouncing. What do I do? And then it comes back down again. You're like, oh, do I take the retest or is that going to move higher? That's a big candle, right? You're going to psychologically be talking yourself through all this stuff. At the end of the day, erase everything out of your mind. The only thing we're focused in on, you guys, is the CIZ. And the reason why we're focused in on the CIZ is we have contradicting moving averages on different time frames. They're going different ways. And so just for that alone, our entry is our entry. Nothing else matters. So once we break once we break the 9 EMA, right, and we do get a red fair value gap, so if you are a little hesitant, there's no reason to not at least give it a shot. You got at least an 88% chance of winning this. I think Shannon was doing the results on Meta today, and you had a 91% chance of having that CIZ work out for you today, okay? So that was a really good move. And thanks for that info, Shannon, because that really helped me out with the Meta trade too. Just gave me the confidence to go ahead and take the trade also. So this was a good CIZ trade here. Still kind of playing out almost to the zero line, not quite, but almost to the zero line here, the downside. Okay. Any questions on NVIDIA? Let's go to the big winner of the day. Let's go to Palantir. And actually, I'm going to do a little bit of math on this. I'm going to tell you how much money you possibly could have made on this. Now, this is a CIZ trade. Okay. Why is it a CIZ trade? We're showing bearish right here on the 90. And we come to the 15, and it's also showing bearish, but the moving averages are twisted up. You got the 9 in between the 50 and the 20. Not good. And then you have the 5 minute here. Same thing. You have the 9 above the 50, above the 20, showing bullish. And then you have the 90 second, which is showing bearish. So I like these smaller time frames. We're showing bearish on here, and we're showing bullish on the bigger time frames on the 15 and on the 5. So even though, and I'll show you how this works, you can see on the 90, we got the bigger move to the downside. We got the mediocre move to the upside. So if I get that CIZ trade now, which I do get right here, and I did hesitate on this one, decided not to take it. Look at the move you have right here. You got a beautiful move to the upside on Palantir. If you would have waited till you broke the 9 right here, you get through all of these moving averages here. You have a 2.5% move on Palantir. You can't beat this one. This was by far one of the best trades of the day. And while I'm here, let me just take a peek at something real quick. Let me see if you guys want to see what you would have made on this one here. Had you taken Palantir, I don't remember which ones I was looking at. Let me just see if I can double check here quick. Yeah, I didn't have it set up. So Palantir. Bear with me here, I'll show you how this works. So if we're taking this to the upside, most likely looking for zero line touch, right? That's our goal. Zero line is about 177.50. So we would have taken, 177.50s on this. I will take calls. And we got calls coming in here. And still in clase. Oh. All right. So 9:45. So this takes place at 9:45. Our entry comes in at 9:48.47. So we would have been in at about $1.78. So those have been $1.78 on those calls. We'll write that down. $1.78. And the high side, we would have taken that up to the CIZ, which would have been 1025, about 408. So 408. And if you were trading $5,000, divide that by $1.78 is about 28 contracts. So you got 28 contracts. You got 408 minus 178. That's $230. Now we're only going to get about 65% of that. So 149 times 28. You have a $4,000 winner roughly on Palantir today. So great CIZ trade. Very predictable trade. It's so easy to talk yourself out of the trade, you guys. It's very easy to talk yourself out of these trades. But that would have been a really nice winner on Palantir. Now, let's go with our strategy and how we play that, right? Would I take this one to the upside based on what I call the golden ticket here? Probably not. I mean, you do have a good move to the upside right here based on this, but you should already have been in this trade based on the CIZ. So I don't really see anything on here. I do like the 5 minute, right? You do get a 5 minute fair value gap, right? Above, like we play on the lower time frames. You do get the retest in here. You get a 15 minute. It does break the 20 EMA. It's a smaller move, depending on when you would have got in here. But you could have got about a 1% move on Palantir based on the 5 minute. And then also on the 5 minute, you got two twin fair value gaps on the 15. Okay, and then you have kind of the twin fair value gaps in the 5. And this, my friends, is a nice move to the downside just based on the twins. Now, if you're going to wait for the 5 minute setup to take place, here's your first red fair value gap below the 20 EMA. And here it is, and it's actually working out right now. You do have close to a 1% move right now. You'd be looking for a CIZ touch or that 100 SMA touch on the 5 minute, and you have another winning trade. So lots of great setups, lots of ways to play the tickers today, you guys. Tons of stuff setting up. What did we miss here? Is there another ticker you guys want me to go over? So we did Palantir, we did NVIDIA, Meta, Tesla. Did we do MSTR yet? Let's do MSTR. If you're interested in watching this recap later, I will publish it on YouTube, and I will put the link up here, and you can watch this later. Mr. MSTR MicroStrategies, it is showing a bearish sentiment. On the 90, we have a bearish sentiment, but it's coming back into the 50 here at the open. We also have a bullish sentiment on the 5. And let's go to the 90-second here. See how this is playing out. All right. This is I think Amir took this one here. A couple ways to look at this one here. Okay, you're only taking this to the pre-market high, right? Would be your goal. It never does get there. It doesn't have the momentum. But if you're playing the 92nd of the 1 minute, you do get this move. You got to wait for your crossover in here. This is another one that I would be hesitant to take. I don't know if I like the movement. There was other tickers I think were probably looking a lot nicer. Maybe like Meta and Tesla than MSTR. But if you were focused in on this one, this is the one you're focused in on. I'd be looking for a CIZ trade for sure on this one here also, just because you got the trends are counter trending here. You do get your first green fair value gap. It doesn't get in here until here, and then you immediately get that push down. So kind of a smaller win. You don't really hit your target either. So probably not the best setup, I would say, in my eyes. Now, if you're looking at the 5 minute, same thing. We get the green fair value gap. Now, the thing on the 5 minute, we know we're usually going to get a run. So you wait for this candle to close. It closes here. Price comes back down. Okay, so you wait for your next candle. You might have gotten in here somewhere. You could have gotten this initial run on the 5 minute for 1.25% move, which is $3.50, which would have been probably the better if you're playing the 5 minute or even the 15 minute fair value gap in here. Nice confluence. So you do have a quick run. I wouldn't be taking it too far. I'd be looking for the pre-market high. Remember, you got to measure these. So wherever your entry's in, you do have a 1.86% move up there. So really, we just want a 1% move, and that does fit. Okay, that does fit the criteria. That's MSCI. Like I said, MSCI does not have CIZ. So let's look at coin, and then we'll call it here. Coin, the sentiment here on coin, on the 90 is bearish. On the 15 is bearish. And we are bullish on the 5. And at the 90 coming into the open, we were bearish. So you got bullish, bearish. Okay, so I am looking for a CIZ trade all day long here, because I told you on the lower 2 time frames, when you got contradicting trends, counter trending, you got one going to the downside, one going to the upside, look for a CIZ. Okay, now I know there's somebody in here that probably is looking to take this to the upside because they believe in coin, they think it's a great trader, and the 15 is showing bullish, and so they want to take this to the upside, which is fine. But you don't have anything here coming into the 50 right here. Okay, we do get the crossover. It is counter trending, but we do hit the CIZ. This is the better trade, the CIZ for the move below the 9 EMA here, and this is your trade right here. And let's see if we get a 1% trade on this one here, depending on when you got into this. And it's about a 1.64% trade, which is really all we're looking for is a 1% move. It's trying to continue to the downside. We'll see it's holding on that VWAP. So, but if you were to take this to the upside based on the 5 minute fair value gap on coin, this I don't have a problem taking, because once again, I got the 5 and I'm waiting for the retest in the 5 as it comes back. And you can see the 15 minute fair value gap forms at that point, and we're holding the 20 EMA here. Okay. So if you wait for that candle to close, whatever you do, I'm looking for a 1% move here. And you see we get almost a 2% move here on coin. So if you're playing the 5 minute fair value gap, this looks a lot cleaner and a lot nicer than the 90-second or the 1 minute. Okay. I just don't like this, the way this is looking here on this particular chart. Okay, we got a lot of stuff in here, but it does confirm it, on the 5 minute. So that's coin. Lots of great trades today. Congratulations to everybody that got green. I think everybody got green today. I don't think anybody got red. So congrats. Any questions on anything, any tickers you want me to go over? Otherwise, I'm going to wrap this video up and go carve pumpkins. All right, guys. With that said, have an awesome weekend, and we'll see you guys bright and early Monday morning. Take care.